Just go to McDonald's or go somewhere else and eat all of it and pass away quicker.
Hey, Wendy's called. Yeah. She's open.
You might want to call the authorities. Wendy's nuts are in your mouth in this parking lot.
Oh, damn.
Wendy's fist starts flying.
Whoa. That's pretty good. Mike is waving his arms.
I was waving my arms.
Was. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the podcast, you guys. I don't feel that great this week. So.
Oh, we're going to have another one where Zoe's being a pussy.
There's that. That's so fucking funny that you are going to sit there and talk shit.
I just feel like you would have said that to me. It was a preemptive.
So are we fighting then? Is that what's happening?
What's the tone of the podcast? Are we fighting?
I'm not really sure, but I don't love it right now.
I love you. I think you're doing great. Thank you for braving the end of your sickness to come be on the mic for the community.
You're welcome.
Zoe?
Mike?
This is obviously a podcast where a comedian and a hairdresser who happen to love each other intentionally field questions from the internet.
Yes.
And see what we can do.
Right.
One of the most longest standing podcasts on the internet.
Just the longest one.
Just the longest.
The absolute longest.
This is the longest podcast there's ever been.
The only one that's ever been.
This was a radio show until it found its way onto somebody's iPod. And now it's a podcast. Zoe,
Mike,
I understand we have 2 questions today.
We do.
What's the fucking first one?
I sent them to you.
Oh. Then I'll do it.
Oh, me.
I didn't know that's what we were doing.
This year, you're doing it.
This whole year?
This whole year.
You know that's not good. You've heard me read, but also as a couple, we're not good readers. Which maybe we should go to adult classes. Okay.
It's a bit rude. It seems like Mike's being a bit rude.
To both of us?
Yeah.
We should go to adult classes because we can't read. Big deal. Question. And this is long. And this is at the limit of what I would consider my reading ability.
Okay.
Just to be able to read for this long. You're currently reading, we talked about this last week, you're reading a 13,000 page book.
Yes.
That is about fairies having physical love.
Yes.
And being in war.
Uh-huh.
It's called Love and War.
It's not what it's called, but...
Question. Do I tell off my longtime friend for being a See You Next Tuesday or just let her go?
Whoa.
Now, if the question ended there, we would say, are there more details? The next 12 paragraphs are the details. Details. I've known my friend Kay and her twin sister Jessie for 14 years. Ha, make them kiss. We used to be, I added that part. We used to be a tight trio in school, but eventually Kay and I became closer as we moved forward into adulthood, and Jessie stayed stuck in her teen years. Hate to hear it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
For Jessie, different people move at different speeds. We all know it.
For sure.
We gradually had less in common with her, even though she looked the same as the other one.
Whoa.
That was another...
They're twin sisters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jessie and Kay. Jessie is... Arrested Development. Kay seems to be moving slowly towards adulthood.
Okay.
Despite this, we always stayed friendly with them both. And despite this, I always stayed friendly with them both and treated them as a unit while we hung out. I understand that because it's tough to tell them.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself or apart.
Sure.
I never treated Jessie any different despite our different directions in life. Recently, however, her sister Kay told me that Jessie was being a huge dick. Without boring you with the details, this is literally the detail
we need to know
part of
in
the
order.
question.
Yeah.
You started this whole section with details.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that
you've gotten this far, but you don't want to bore us with details?
We've gotten this far, but we don't want to start giving you... We don't want to overload...
Listen, I'm only going to tell you part of the story.
Not to overload the details section with details.
That's neither here nor there.
Without boring you with details, she was acting spoiled and taking advantage of family and friends' generosity without paying them back. Sounds like a hot girl. In either favors or money.
Oh, what kind of favors?
Well, friends and family.
Go
So let's
Friends.
grow up. Who's Arrested Development now?
Okay,
Zoya is forever a teenage boy.
for sure.
Dating a deadbeat, unemployed boyfriend, probably plays music, has tattoos, who convinced her to quit her steady job and sell drugs instead.
Hell yeah.
Hell, what do you mean, hell yeah, Zoe? Arrested Development teenage girl is selling drugs now with her deadbeat boyfriend? Anyway, and being incredibly callous towards her sister's attempts to connect with her. Sounds like she's
Doing drugs.
digging her in her own supply.
Yes.
She decided to move several states away,
Bye.
and didn't even plan to say goodbye to us. Despite that, Kay reached out and planned a farewell party on her behalf. That's so funny if she moved several states away, but they still had a party. Like she had already moved.
Okay.
Even though she wasn't leaving on the greatest terms. Her family wanted to send her off real nice. We used the time to tell her. Oh, she did show up to the party. We used the time to tell her that we were worried about her, and she blew us off. Sounds like you did an intervention with balloons. Mm-hmm. At the end of the night, she didn't say goodbye, I miss you, or thank you for the going away gifts that we got her. Conclusion. Why do you need us if the story has a conclusion? We hadn't been as close as we once were, but I still care about her.
Sure.
She was always one of the musketeers in our trio. Trio Musketeers. My favorite candy bar. And we don't know why she started to act like she was. She's been saying really cruel things to her sister, and I am at a crossroads about it, which is why I am asking you both. Doesn't sound like a conclusion to me.
Yeah.
Option 1, do I let her have it and call her out for her fucked up behavior? I can't stand to see her treat her sister this way. I don't associate with people who behaved the way she has. Option 2, or do I consider this the end of our friendship and just let it go? Last paragraph. Hold your horses. Should have made the robot do this.
Yeah.
Reading is tough. If you guys have any tips, drop it in the comment section.
Rainbow.
Actually, don't drop the tips in the comment section about how hard it is to read. Just tell me the tips. I feel like I'm watching Jesse run with scissors, and the gentle teaching approach hasn't worked. Kay is trying to yank the scissors out of her hand, so many metaphors, and gets cut during the process. Beautiful. What poem is that from? And I don't know if I should just let Jesse get hurt, potentially at Kay's expense, or if I should bark at her and get her head out of her ass and protect her sister. Nothing feels like the right choice. What do you think?
Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Yeah. Being someone who has several sisters.
You do have several sisters. Let's count them.
Yeah. I mean, unless Kay has actually done something to you personally, that's when you really have the right to say something. But if she's treating her sister like shit, that's between them, you know?
Yeah. Also, like, she's making all these choices.
Yeah.
She's made all these choices about her life. And eventually,
Because how do you know that Jess is not going to get mad at you for saying something to her sister?
The story was so long, I don't even remember who was
there's too much. It's too much. There's too much going on. That question did not need to be that. Do I or do I not? You're friends with twin sisters.
I'm friends with twins.
Yeah.
One of them is being a dick. And dating a
drug addict.
drug dealer
Yeah.
who is trying to make one of them sell drugs.
Sure.
And she's being a dick.
Yeah.
And we had a going away party
Yeah.
because she's moving several states away, and she didn't say thank you for any of the shit that she gave us.
I hope Jess and Kay get served this
Oh.
this clip.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everyone's mad at what's this girl's name?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
So it's like You've been friends with twins. One of them is blossoming into an adult. One of them is in Arrested Development and having kind of a bad time. Dude, as somebody who spent a lot of their internet career telling people, suggesting people that they should do one thing over another, all you can do is suggest. There's literally nothing you're going to say that's going to change the trajectory of the way that this person's acting.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like, you hear it from all angles, but you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like you do your shit and you deal with the consequences, and then you have to decide to change after the consequences.
Yeah. Forgive me for whoever asked this question. Please send more questions in. But I'm in rare form right now, so.
Sure. Send more questions in. Shorter.
Much shorter.
Much shorter. Draw a picture.
Yeah.
Let us decide what the problem is from the picture.
Yeah.
Take a picture, and the one of them is like this, and then one of them is like that. And then like, what do we do about this one?
Well, how do we know that, the twins are actually fine and that there's not a real drug dealer boyfriend? They're just trying to get away from this friend that sent maybe she's the annoying friend that meddles too much.
Yeah, one is like...
Maybe you need to take a step the fuck back and stop being so nosy.
Did you ever have a friend growing up in that transition? Not surprising with that attitude.
No. Whoa.
Did you have a friend that was like, you guys are always together and one of them's drifting away and you feel the responsibility to be like, you're being a dick, you're breaking up the group? Or
Yeah,
did you just
I'm sure I've done that too to friends, you know what I mean? But like you tend to grow and change and things happen. And just because you grow out of a friendship doesn't mean that we're like this fucking awful person.
Also, way better chance of you connecting later on if you just let the person go fuck up.
Yeah, let them go do their thing. Maybe they're just in it. Like, you can't control your friends though. Like I don't believe in that either. That's
the big takeaway from all this.
Yeah.
Is that you can scream at the person, you could be a dick to them, but literally nothing is going to convince them to right the course like going through the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, I mean,
or not, I'm not saying like the worst part of being a drug dealer or whatever, but you got to let them like make their mistakes and then figure out that that's not what they want.
Sure.
Because especially if there's so much unknown going from like teenage years to 20s years.
Yeah.
And you got to make all these mistakes to know why that's not the right choice.
Maybe you just need to be Jess's friend and listen to what she has to say and hear her out and let her complain about her sister.
Now, is Jess the one?
Jess, I don't know. Whoever you're closer with, whatever twin you're closer with, I'm assuming is Jess. I think Kay is moving away.
Let's say that Kay is the one moving away. It doesn't sound like Kay is real receptive to anything right now. So it's like, why put all this effort into saying this, that, or the other thing when she's already trying to push you guys away? Let her deal with the consequence of her actions. She's pushing you away, so be away.
Yeah.
And then when she wants to come back, if you have the energy to accept that person back, then you be a good friend in that moment instead of being like overstepping friend at this moment.
Right.
Man, I knew we'd get to something productive
I'm
once
here
we
for
figured
it.
out what was going on.
Hey, put your nose back on your face, nosy.
Dude, could we take a little intermission before we go to the next one?
Sure.
I have 2 small notes to say. I don't want to take up a lot of our podcast with small talk.
I'm into it, though.
There's this breakfast place that I got you breakfast at today. I got us breakfast at today. And it's like literally hole in the wall. And it's one of those places where it's like, no advertising. You know about this place because somebody else was horny about it and be like, you got to go to this place.
Yeah.
Places like that are awesome because it's word of mouth. But with every word of mouth comes nerds. And these 2 fucking nerds were behind me in line, like movie reviewer nerds.
Yeah.
And literally this place serves 4 things. There's 4 things on the menu. I don't even know how they take up a whole like 8x10 piece of paper with the menu.
Yeah.
They put coffee on there a couple of times so they could fill out the bottom.
Right.
But I hear these guys talking, and they're like probably late 20s, early 30s. The most nasally nerd voice.
What do you mean?
What's the big deal about this place? What's the fuss about this place?
I don't know. There's food here.
And this is none of my business. But I heard it, and it was obviously before I ate, so I got low blood sugar, temperature boiling up to tippy top, and I feel like a kettle. And I want to pop off and be like, hey, you know what the deal with this place is? Since it's a restaurant, food's probably good.
Food.
And I don't think you need more beyond that. And then they're reading down the 4 things on the menu, and the skeptical one goes, this one's probably trash. Just leave. Just go to McDonald's or go somewhere else and eat all of it and pass away quicker.
Hey, Wendy's called.
Yeah.
She's open.
Yeah. And you might want to call the authorities. Wendy's nuts are in your mouth in this parking lot.
Oh, damn.
Wendy's fist starts flying.
Whoa. That's pretty good.
But I couldn't stand it, man.
Yeah.
Why? Some people get their...
What's wrong, Mike? It doesn't... Do I bother you because I want to know if this place is actually that good? Don't you see that the garbage is all overflowing over here?
That's the other thing. The garbage was overflowing with boxes, and then he put his stuff on the top, and it all toppled over, and then he left. And I was like, of course that's the kind of person that does that. It all fits. Part of it was miserable because I was like, this person is fucking misery, and his voice is a specific tone that cuts through all other sound in the world and gets right to it. Like, your ears are on the sides of your head, but I heard him in the middle of my forehead, if that makes any sense. And like, of course he's inconsiderate and like has no self-awareness and all that stuff, but it's like, you don't have to shit on everything in order to prove your own self-worth to your friend or yourself or whatever. You could just shut up. Yeah, 100%. And the best part of restaurants is that you can't talk when you're eating.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And I love that part. I love the part where it's like, you could have this whole conversation about what's the big fuss about this place, and this on the menu sounds like a weird combination of stuff, and then you put the food in your mouth and then it's silent.
Yeah.
And that's what I look forward to.
Yeah. Did they look pleased? Did you watch them eat?
I did not watch them eat. Yeah. I think they got it to go, but I did. And here is where, like, I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I know that I have personal things in my personality that are off-putting.
What do you mean?
And you bet your sweet ass that I watched them all the way to their car, watch and bump into shit and be nerds and put their greasy fingers all over their fucking, like, Lexus door handles.
What kind of shoes did they have on?
Bad ones.
Like Skechers?
Skechers adjacent.
Okay.
New Balance one, but not the cool ones.
Not dad New Balances?
No, just fucking like, I just hate miserable people in the morning. Too early to be miserable. You should not be allowed to be miserable until
noon.
1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Noon 30.
And it really did get under my skin.
I get that, but you can't there's always going to be someone that is going to be anywhere you go.
Yes, but they're not always so close to you.
Right.
When they're behind you, when I'm looking forward to getting something that we love and I'm in line and I don't have any like thing blocking out the sound of the world from whatever, and all I hear, like, with breath I feel the breath on my neck,
man,
and it's just nasally negativeness with the breath on my neck, nerd breath.
When they breathe nasally, though, like when you could just tell what their voice is going to be like because of their breathing.
Yeah, it's like the mouth when you hear the inhale and the exhale.
Hey, Mike,
your mouth doesn't have to introduce the air. Dude, it's like the mouth It's like the director, like the sticks, like when they do scene 12, act 2, and action. That's the mouth. And the action is the air.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't mean to complain, but I just hated it.
That's very funny.
Also, I made the decision that if I ever left you for an inanimate object, it would be a bidet. The second question, if you left me for any inanimate object, what would it be?
I'm not sure. I'd have to think on that.
I know it's not a great question. Second question of the day. First of all, if you want to come see me tonight, I'll be in downtown LA opening up for Hank Green, who is filming a special. The 26th and 27th, I'll be at Madhouse in San Diego. If you're anywhere in the San Diego area, I think that's, what is it? Either Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. Come on down and hang out at Madhouse, for Christ's sake. And then the next two surrounded shows are fucking next Friday, 7 and 9:30 on the 2nd, February 2nd at the Hollywood Improv Lab. Tickets are already going. There's a little bit left.
Hell yeah.
Fucking Melissa Villasenor is going to be there, and she's so funny.
She is so funny.
Are you going to
go? Surrounded, yes.
Okay, Zoe will also be there. Here's the second and final question of the day.
Tell me.
Much shorter.
Yes.
One sentence, 2 parts.
Okay.
If I'm ready for a relationship, should I stop looking for one? You know, Zoe, you always hear you find a relationship the second you stop looking.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is when not looking for a relationship would imply your comfortability with yourself. And I think when you're comfortable with yourself and you're content, you give off a calmness, and there's no desperation, and there's little to no anxiety in that state of being. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a very attractive set of vibes to give off.
Sure.
Goodbye.
I thought you were going to do it. I would have been like, okay, we're doing that.
I want to hear you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that once you're done dating yourself, and you're comfortable with the person that you're going to be, that means that you're ready to. But if you're really, really wanting to get in a relationship, you're going to absolutely have to put yourself out there, because it's not just going to happen. It's not just going to fall on your lap.
Yeah, that's the other side of it.
You know, you have to go do things. You're not going to find someone sitting on your fucking couch in your living room.
Right.
You know?
You can't just be sitting down playing Tetris 99.
No.
And say, okay, world.
I'm ready.
And I'm done.
I'm ready.
So you think about literally anything you want in your life. It's not totally realistic.
Yeah.
I think when they say stop looking for one, it means stop being desperate and nervous about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean stop looking for one. Don't put yourself in an actual position where you're looking for somebody else. Just don't be so my life is dependent on this shit about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Big fan of the second question.
Big fan.
If you have a question that's the same length as the second question today, with the same amount of detail, you could always send that to our IG at Welcome to Our Podcast with underscores. Just search for us. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Next week's episode will come out on Patreon. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters for basically funding the production of this podcast.
Yep.
All the video you see from Limnia and Jomch, who is posting all that stuff and interacting with you guys on the internet.
Yes.
On IG and on Twitter.
We do appreciate.
Or X. Thank you for interacting with us on X. What a cool name for a website in 1997.
What's X?
That's what they call Twitter now since Elon Musk has it.
I'm on Twitter all the time, you guys. I'm sorry, X.
When was the last time you touched the icon for Twitter? You probably don't even know that because the icon has changed. You probably don't even know what it is. It's like I updated my OS on my iPhone, and I have a thing called Journal now. I was like, what the fuck is that?
That happened to me too, but I didn't do that. That just happened.
I know. It feels like an invasion of privacy, like that U2 album that they put on everybody's iPhone. Like, what the fuck? Don't
do you know
add
they
shit
keep
to my
putting
shit.
it back on your phone?
The U2 thing?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'm just kidding. As you guys know, patreon.com is a virtual tipping and rewards website, and our $10 group gets a shout out, and that goes a little something like this. Alexander Brown, okay? Dancing Philosopher, Mr. Howard, Jay the Fifth, Ryan Cruteau, Cole Rusty, Joseph Capacusio. It's loud. It's a little quiet. Shannon Margot, Ernesto, Raja knows. Luis and Odette, Lauren Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Derek Helling, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Werefishy, JJ McToots, Connie Tryon, Potato, and Taro Baez, Frankie Matos Music, Johnny Rizito Handcrafted Neckwear.
Can we start calling him Frankie Hotosh Motosh?
Sure.
That's if you were part of our group of friends at home, you would be called Frankie Hotosh Motosh.
Johnny
Anyway.
Rizito Handcrafted Neckwear, Admam, Emily Pageant, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Giant Tom Hanks, Gavin Welsh, Someone Tell Aaron, Jackie Hammond, Paige Jensen, Guy with Longish Hair, Chris Johnson, Benjamin Putz, Beth Bush, Christina Camille, Josh Cadeau, Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston, Jules Run, Grant Levisier, Chad Clark, Katie Taylor, Joe Band, Milk and Beans.
Milk and beans. My favorite snack. My favorite midnight snack.
Jess Enright, Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Ben Fuchs, Theodorus Carabellis, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Beebestein, Just Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch, Helen Ford, Illuminos, Superfloss, Danielle Di Verona, Dev, you fucking me up with Robert I'm just getting over the flu and I feel like shit still. Don Bure, Alexander Legowski, Jamie Garner, Felicia Shimberry, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thanks so much for listening.
Yes.
Next week's episode is a Patreon only episode, so we'll see you there.
See you on Patreon.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Love you.